Well, thank you, William. It's been a great trip.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. It's been great having you here.
Yeah.
You're leaving now. The population is halved.
Yeah. Well, the population of miscreants has dropped by 1.
It's nice having someone with a sense of humour here for a change. In fact, you got to have a sense of humour to be here.
New Zealand isn't even on most of the maps of the world,
Yeah.
but somehow I figured out how to get here. Well, hello tubers. I am back in the true north, strong and free. If you know the national anthem, you know what I'm talking about, Canada. But only for a while. I've actually been looking for an apartment in Thailand and perhaps looking to do a few other things. But until now, I will be in Canada for a brief while until the next adventure begins. The reality is RV life is a bit tiresome with the driving, etc., etc. I have been blessed and yet cursed with seeing probably 38 of the United States by the time I was 22, so there's a lot of been there, done that, seen almost everything that I want to see, that you can see in North America. So get a little tired of the driving, if you know what I'm saying. Even with my latest trip to New Zealand, 14-hour flight, very long, but I hate to say this, folks, 14-hour drive from Vancouver don't get you very far. So it's much easier and oftentimes more economical to actually just jump into a plane and fly somewhere instead of lugging the big beast. For example, even going to LA and back is $1,000 in fuel, where I could fly to LA from here for $325. That's the sad reality. And I am getting older, so comfort and convenience is something that I do put a price tag on. Now, I did learn some wonderful things about New Zealand while I was down there. Loved their food products, their wine products, the people. It is a place that anybody can transition to quite easily. A very safe, clean, and organized democracy. And there is no reason to fear going to New Zealand for any reason. In fact, the most dangerous thing about New Zealand is the driving. That's it. Flying there is safe, flying home is safe. The driving, every year there is a small number of people who fly there and die and never go home because the roads are windy, the roads are narrow, they're not used to driving on the other side of the road. But if you use your wits, drive sober, and enjoy those cocktails, at the end of the day when you're parked, you should be absolutely fine, like most people are. Now, speaking of those New Zealand products, I brought a duffel bag full of products back from New Zealand. A lot of New Zealand coffee to give away because it stores well, it travels well, it doesn't matter if it gets crushed. And I love that. Brought some New Zealand wine. Not like you can't buy New Zealand wine here, you can. But there's a few bottles of New Zealand wine that it's difficult to get around here that I brought back that I really loved. And I fell in love with the Sauvignon Blanc from the Marlborough region of New Zealand. Now, I'm not much of a whiner, but I do like the white wine. And I find it's quite exquisite and a really nice price point. Wherever you are watching this video, I challenge you to go out and get a nice bottle of Sauvignon Blanc from the Marlborough region in New Zealand, wherever you're at, and enjoy it. You will not be disappointed. But speaking of coffee achievers, I know Static Camper Van is a coffee achiever, so I've got a bag of coffee for you, in spite of me ignoring every rational instinct to not give you the drug of your choice. So, of course, I'm going to give it to you, and then I'm going to troll you like I've been doing for the last year and a half about your coffee habits that are quite vulgar, I would say. And of course, Static, you know you gratuitously use coffee, kind of like Campervan Kevin uses his puppy dogs. Yes, I know you understand what I'm talking about. You gratuitously use coffee in very perverse ways just for the views. So, therefore, to enable you to do such a thing, I will give you more coffee from the other side of the world so that you may embark upon your sick endeavor. Okay, enough about that. Anywho, New Zealand was fantastic. The people were profoundly friendly, decent, and the country is clean. What's wrong with a clean country? And safe. Everywhere I went, there was no feeling of unsafeness, even amongst the few homeless people they do have. Because everywhere there is homeless and people who cannot find a way to at least live homeless like I do in an RV. So whenever I encounter people who whine and snivel about their station in life, I must remind them that I'm an old pensioner and I'm homeless and I live in an RV myself. Oh, wah, wah, I'm crying, wah. So now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about the future. Well, the future looks so bright, I have to wear shades. So I have been looking for an apartment elsewhere, as I have mentioned, I believe, in Thailand, and perhaps maybe even a cruise to Hawaii. Don't know. It's all about the price point and the mood, because, as I mentioned, not really in the mood to drive this big white whale thousands of miles when I don't have to. Just don't have to, man. You know, that's why they invented planes. I mean, really? Why do we have to toil so hard on the road? Especially these roads that I've been on so many times before. Up and down the coast from Alaska to the Mexican border. Oh, lordy, it's getting a bit tiring. Better to just rent and fly, I think. So, you know, I really don't know why I have to indulge in the grind of the road when it's not necessary. Of course, I think that's an expression of my experience level and my age speaking. After all, I am an old pensioner, right? Thumbs up for old pensioners like me. Let's get to some of the buzz online at the bottom of YouTube. There has been talk of a meetup in Vegas in mid to late October for some of the nomads. I've discussed this on a few live streams and there is some interest, and it could be a lot more fruitful. And of course, a meetup in Vegas is so much more easier and affordable than those meetups in Hawaii, which, you know, we've done the last couple of years, but very few people got those dineros to go all the way to Hawaii in January after Christmas. That's the reality. I realize most of the people here are not single with multiple incomes that can afford to just drop everything and do that. I get it. So put your comments down below if you would be interested in a meetup in Vegas. I know a lot of people are in and around that area, and I will say this, the beautiful thing about a meetup in mid to late October in Vegas is that it's cheap, hotels are reasonable, airfare is reasonable, and the weather is fantastic. Not too hot, not too cold. Trust me, I used to go to Vegas a lot, so I understand what I'm talking about, and there's a lot of people I know that have lived there, currently live there, and they will affirm what I'm saying. Now, I'm not talking about anything too wild and crazy. Just we'll find a place, a hotel, something to do, hang out in Vegas, do what we want. We don't have any big obligations to hang out for the whole time if we don't want to. So we can respect everybody's personal interests and privacy if you want to come down. So in the meantime, I am researching what to do with my life in the fall. Because I got a few things I need to do. I definitely got to get this rig ready for the winter. Got to do some caulking because it's all about the white caulk on the roof. You know what I'm saying? So once I get everything done here in late summer, free to do what I want, and perhaps I may see you on the road somewhere. Of course, I know those cheap apartments are up for grabs in Phuket, Thailand in October. So definitely thinking about that. So, you know, ideally if I could do a swing to Vegas and then fly from there and on to Phuket, that would be great. If I can't, there's also a couple cruises leaving from Vancouver to Hawaii, repositioning. that I'm definitely taking a look at. So it's all about the mood and the price, because when my mood feels right and the price feels right, I'm doing it. That's just how I roll. After all, I am a homeless retired person, so I should indulge myself a little bit, shouldn't I? So that's about the way I see it from the True North Strong and Free, the land of the beaver, you know, where the men are happy and the beavers are scared. So in the meantime, folks, tell me what you think about a nomadic meetup in Vegas. Put your comments down below. I'll talk to you soon. In the meantime, folks, from the Great White North, over and out.